So, Decan, you've been a part of, obviously, Gibson your whole life, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think about exhaust? What does an exhaust do?
Makes the car louder.
Yeah. What do you think is your favorite sound of an exhaust that you've heard? Is it something on YouTube, something you heard in person? What do you think sounds the coolest?
Ours.
Ours? Good answer.
Nice.
Right? Ours.
Well trained.
Yeah.
Well trained.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Lambo and Leroy Show.
What's going on, everyone?
Man,
it's been a little while.
it's been a little while.
We've been busy.
It's summertime, baby.
I mean, you're planning a wedding.
I'm planning a wedding. It's river season.
I mean, you're still getting married, right? She
Yeah,
hasn't left you yet?
no, we're still there.
Okay, cool.
We're still good.
Well, just checking. Well, summer's kind of coming to an end. Kids are going back to school.
Yep.
I've got two very special guests here with us today.
Very special.
First, I'm going to start with Decan Blaze. He's my nephew, 10 years old, got a twin sister, getting ready to go to school.
Nice.
Probably our number one fans. Listen to every single episode, watched every single YouTube one.
I love it, man. It's awesome. Decan, welcome to the show.
Decan, I'm glad you made it. So he'll be here. We just wanted to have him join in. Definitely once he opens up a bit, he's pretty rad.
That's amazing. I love it.
I mean, all of our kids are rad.
Yeah.
All kids are rad.
It's in the blood.
That's good.
Well, then, next to him is probably, I would say, the most interesting man in the world. I mean, I've known him, what are we going on, 20 years?
21. 22.
22 years?
22 years.
I still feel like when we go golfing.
And knew him in diapers almost.
That's amazing. Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I still feel like when we go golfing, there's still stories that come out that I not know anything about. I mean, it's...
We've built some good stories, too.
Either he's done a lot in a short amount of time, or he just has aged very well and has been here for a long time.
It's just a passion. He has
He's
the same
had good
passion about
times.
golf, you know?
Yeah.
Every day is a story on the golf course.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
Danny Moniz currently is our VP of Sales at Gibson
Currently,
Exhaust.
I mean,
Currently,
who
who
knows
knows what's
where
happening
I'll be a
tomorrow.
year
Keeps us
from now.
going. Well, I mean, yeah. You wouldn't have the resume you do
Could be
these
the guy
day
with
places.
a broom in his hand, you know?
I mean,
Or retired.
So, I mean, collectively with the two times, multiple. Three times with Gibson. I mean, it's been over 20 plus years you've been with us.
I'm not an employee, I'm a habit.
You keep coming back.
Yeah.
Old bad habits, huh?
Well,
Come to the rescue, Danny.
Yep.
And I love these guys. I don't know why.
You gotta keep going back.
I love them.
The feelings are mutual, buddy.
He's my son.
Yep.
I've always been dad too.
Dad too.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, well, now that Dad won, lives on the other side of the country, I kind of have to lean on
Yeah,
Dad.
lean on
a few
Danny.
more
Yeah.
times.
I pick up the piece when Ron leaves.
It's like, damn it, Ron.
Yeah, keep him on the straight and narrow.
Good.
So he, with the industry of automotive, I mean, it doesn't start with Gibson. I mean, it started way, way back. But
long time.
I mean, how long have you been a part of the industry, would you say?
84. When I got out of the military, I had a lot of money, so I had a lot of time on my hands. I surfed a lot.
Nice.
And just a quick story. I roll into this place called Auto Stuff Motoring Accessories, which the old timers know what that is or who that was. And I rolled in, and I needed new tires on my car. And I had my two surfboards. I go surfing every day. I had a 6.8 Robert August single fin. I had a 5.10 tri-fin Mike Lyle that was custom made. And every day I was at the beach. So I kept my shit on my... Oh, sorry, I didn't.
It's all
You're fine.
There's no...
Will you stop fucking doing that?
I kept it all on top of the car, and I went to this auto stuff place in Anaheim. And great place, had all the accessories you could ever want to, do up your car and so on. And the owner comes out to me, and he says... Because I had just spent $4,000 there. The guys hit me up for everything. Wheels, tires, sheepskin covers. I mean, the whole thing.
They did their job.
They did their job,
Yeah.
right? And I had the cash. I threw it down. And when I was in the military, I saved all my money. And the owner comes out. He goes, "Are you a pro surfer?" And I go, "No." I started laughing. And he says, "Do you have a job?" I go, "No." He goes, "You want one?" I go, "No."
No.
No,
Absolutely
I'm good.
not.
I wanted to take some time off after the military.
Of course.
And my wife at the time we were planning to have a kid, so I figured I better get all this out now before I become a dad,
Yep.
and I don't have any time anymore. So I ended up going to work for the guy, and I was just a driver.
And Auto Stuff is like a retailer?
Auto Stuff was a retail store that you would walk into,
Yeah.
and we had sheepskin covers and wax and wheels and tires
Nice.
and bras. I mean, we sold tons of bras.
Yeah, that was the thing back then.
Yeah,
man.
it was huge.
Save your
Which was like
paint.
the worst thing you could put on the car. You're going to say
Because it
different
just
rock?
rubbed-
It
It
was
rubbed on it.
actually the worst
Yeah.
thing you could put on a car.
Yeah.
And because of that, it would buff the car's paint.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this killer wax line that took care of it. So it was kind of like, yeah, go ahead, put that
Buy
on there.
this.
You'll be coming back for this stuff later. And that's how I started, and it's funny we're talking about that because one of the pioneers of the industry, auto
anything?
Auto Anything. I wanted to say something else.
Or Truck Performance?
No, it was Auto Anything. The Klein family. They became friends of mine. They were the actual first warehouse that I dealt with as a distributor.
Oh, nice.
As a manufacturer.
Yeah.
And they were blue ribbon sheepskin covers back then.
Wow.
And everybody was putting sheepskin covers on their vehicles.
were.
They were
Steering wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
Oh yeah, I mean Mercedes-Benz. We put every Mercedes that came through, and that led to. Remember when the Rams were at Anaheim Stadium?
Yep.
Across the way was their training facility.
Okay.
So all the Rams players would come over and just throw keys at me. Jerry Gray, Kevin Green.
That's awesome.
All those dudes. Who was the running back? I'll think of his name in a minute. But they would all come in and we'd accessorize their cars, and we made a gang load of money on these guys.
That's
they didn't care; they had
amazing.
money to burn, and they would constantly come in and just fix up their cars every
And this
year.
is early 80s, right?
This was 1984. I was there 84 to 89, 88.
Were you guys doing like lowering kits and lifting kits all that back then?
Lifts,
Yeah.
you name it.
Everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did it all.
I mean, because
Yeah.
lifts weren't super popular.
They weren't, not
really
yet,
back
yeah.
then, but lowering
Lowering was everything.
we
ground
lowered
effect-
everything.
ground
Yeah.
effects kits from like Xenon
Oh,
and
yeah,
all
yeah,
them.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
lowering, absolutely.
Got the light
Absolutely.
tubes under there.
When the Corvette first came out, it had a single fiberglass spring in the back.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there looking at how do you load it? Because everything in the back, in the days was, we'll just cut the spring.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Now you're looking at this leaf spring back there. What are we going to do here? So my buddy at the time, who's now a good friend of mine, he says, I'll just trim the edges a little bit, and that'll cause it to drop. And sure shit, we were the only guys that did it for the
Oh
longest
my
time. No one could figure out how to
gosh.
lower a vet
That's
because of
awesome.
that spring, right?
Yeah.
Just big fiberglass spring. So yeah, that's how I got into this crazy industry. And then I realized in a real quick fashion that I didn't like retail.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a quick thing about retail and wholesale. In retail, you can go from store to store to store, and that customer will follow you around,
Yeah.
right? You piss that guy off once, you never see him again.
True.
In the wholesale industry, the same thing happens because I was the COO, vice president of Volant Cold Air Intakes
Yeah.
in between my times with Gibson when I was working for Sean, and I was working for both companies at the same time
Okay.
at one point. But in wholesale, people will follow you around. They'll sell your wares. They'll sell your product because
Yeah.
of your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And if you piss them off, you get through it, and they still deal with you. In retail, it's like off on goo. I'll go someplace.
Go somewhere else, yeah.
Completely different mindsets.
Yeah.
Right. So.
That makes sense though, because they're making money off you though too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, as a
oh,
wholesaler.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But as a retailer, they're not.
Yeah.
They're just giving you money.
Well,
The
they know how
difference-
you work.
The difference in retail is you have to be a good liar and a salesman. In wholesale, you just do. You have to. The guy actually comes in wanting Michelins. He ain't getting Michelins that day.
Yeah.
He's going out with some crazy tire he's never even heard of before. If you do
Because
your job, right?
you're BSing them.
But you're going to play it off, right? You're
Of course.
gonna-
These
but
are
you
way
really-
better.
You
You're
really
gonna
should
want
look at this
these.
one, right?
Yep.
Wholesale is a completely different animal. But in wholesale, it's all about service. Everybody thinks wholesalers sell. You don't sell, you
Yeah.
service, right?
Yep.
And the more you service, the more they buy. It's like our biggest account that we have right now. When I came back my third time with Sean, they were doing 95% less than they're doing today.
Wow.
It's not because I'm a brilliant sales guy.
Yeah.
It's because I make them want to buy our product now.
Yeah.
I service them beyond you could possibly service them. And now they're our largest
Distributor.
distributor. Actually, they're a private brand. I
Yeah.
won't name names. But it's because of service.
Of course.
It's not selling. I haven't sold anything in I don't know how long.
Yeah, it's
It's all
always just
about
servicing
service.
them.
Sure, you make your phone calls and everything.
The only thing he sells is the programs he wants to present to them to me.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I mean,
Hey, Sean and I are
And I'm easy to be sold when it comes
when it
from
comes
him.
because you know it's going to work.
we're actually two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
We actually blend well together. You
That's
know?
awesome.
The word no very rarely comes into a conversation between the two of us.
Yeah.
He has great ideas. I have great ideas. We throw them together. We throw it out there, and we move on.
Yeah.
And we've kind of made Gibson almost a turnkey business that it's not. There's only so much you can do anymore because there's so much distribution. Everything's muddied.
Yep.
And if a guy comes out with the perfect wheel, 2 weeks later, the guy has a copy of the perfect wheel that's changed maybe 10%.
Yep.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
No. That's how the industry is. There's
Yeah.
almost too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too many people, too many companies.
So
let's rewind back to where you started. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Fall River, Massachusetts.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And go Boston. I'm a Red Sox fan, always have been.
Nice.
On my father's side, I had a cousin that played for the Angels, second baseman Jerry Remy.
That's awesome.
In 74 to 77, I think it was. And he went from California Angels back in the days when it was California Angels, which is really weird, and had the big A in the back of the
love
field.
that.
So it was total
So
old
cool.
school baseball park. It was beautiful. And I knew Nolan Ryan.
Wow.
I was a pitcher in high school.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He actually, we would get, because we were friends and family, we would get there. My dad and I would get there early, like 3 o'clock. Game time was 7.
Yeah.
And go out there. You know, when the players are out there stretching, they're throwing the
Throwing the
baseball.
balls.
I would get to do that with them and stuff.
That is amazing. What a cool
yeah,
experience.
Yeah. And Nolan, because of the relationship as a team, there was a couple times that I went on the Angels baseball diamond or on the mound.
That is rad.
And he just gave me some.
That's an
pointers.
awesome experience to be on the
Yeah,
mound.
yeah.
It's just
I
such
mean,
a
and
how old were you
iconic
at that
position.
point? Were you like high school?
16,
okay, yeah.
17.
That's awesome. What a great time for that.
Sometime right around there.
Really enjoyed that.
Yeah. It was a crazy experience to be around. I've always been around people like that. I mean, I've roots in Hollywood. I've got, the baseball and so on. And so that type of starism, I guess you could call it, doesn't really affect me. I don't get all drooly and gaga over it.
For
it's
sure.
just I kind of grew up with it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I came from Boston. My parents moved to California to Garden Grove when I was 6.
Wow.
So I'm kind of a root of California.
Yeah.
I don't know anything different.
Yeah.
And always been a Southern California boy. My parents both were directors for Disneyland. My dad took care of anything that had to do with paint and maintenance for Disneyland.
Wow.
My mom was actually a decorator for Main Street.
Wow.
So she erected the
Christmas
tree
and Halloween
did all
and-
the windows displays, and
Oh
that was
my
her gig, man.
gosh.
And throughout the year, they'd rotate with different Halloween, Christmas, whatever.
Yeah,
it may
4th
be.
of July, and they always change it up for like
Yeah.
every season, everything, holidays.
So then when they got that job, we moved from Garden Grove to Anaheim, and we lived so close to Disneyland, you could actually hear the train.
That is
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you saw fireworks every night.
Oh yeah,
Every night.
Oh yeah. And because somewhere in my collection of collections, I have a Disneyland pass
That is awesome.
that I could get in there anytime.
See, that's so crazy. So my grandma, they bought their house in Garden Grove. I can't remember how long ago. That was their first house. They came from Kansas, and they bought the house for $14,000 in Garden Grove. And it was so close to Disneyland. My dad and his brothers, they would go sneak into Disneyland. They just go jump the fence. Because it was that easy back then.
Yeah.
They just go jump the fence, and they would go in there in high school and all that. Like, it's just so crazy. But me, I grew up going to my grandma's all the time, and we would sit on the roof and just watch fireworks every night.
Yeah.
Because they're right down the street.
Yeah,
It's
I
like-
can see them from
We
here.
were in,
so cool.
I grew up in Santa Ana, and when you heard the fireworks going off, you knew it
You
was
knew it was,
bedtime.
yeah, knew it was 9 o'clock.
Right. That's true. It's
Yep.
about 9 o'clock.
Yeah. 9
Time to
o'clock
go
on the
to
dot.
bed. Yeah. So I grew up in Anaheim my whole life, and then I married and divorced, unfortunately. But my bride today, we are, knock on wood, celebrating number 25 in November.
Wow, congrats.
And we've been together 27 years, and we bought a house in Tustin, and then we bought another house in Tustin, and I got into flipping, and I got into a hobby that I never thought I'd like, which was kind of designing.
Okay.
So I can make cabinets. I can do this.
His woodworking is crazy.
That. Yeah, I still have all 5.
That's good. You're winning right now.
Although I almost cut this one off the other day.
Ooh.
And then we moved out to the Inland Empire in 2001.
Okay.
I flipped a couple of houses in Orange County, made some good money on that one. Back in 2004. Yeah, 2004, before the recession hit.
Yeah.
I mean, you could turn a house real quick and make $100,000.
Yeah.
I turned a condo and made $260,000 in 2 years. But I did all the work inside.
For sure.
I didn't have a
put your blood,
GC
sweat, and tears.
or any of that.
No, just doing it yourself.
So, and I did the same in the Inland Empire, and then we finally bought our dream house in Menifee, and that's where we've been ever since.
Nice.
Love it there, which is, a 20-minute drive, no traffic.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as no traffic
Not
in California.
Here. No.
But yeah, that's
What amazes me about Danny is he has all these stories prior to the automotive industry, and it kind of blows my mind like how you ended up in the automotive industry. For one, it's like golf, right? He's a great golfer, the most consistent golfer. When you look at when he swings the golf club, it doesn't even look like he's swinging hard, and the thing's always down the middle, and he plays really good golf. But that started way back at a young age, right?
Well, my dad was nuts about golf.
Yeah.
And as a I think teenager, I think at about 9-10 years old, he put a golf club in my hand.
Wow.
And I remember I played my first real round.
That's awesome.
At 11 on Dad Miller in Anaheim. And that's back in the days where the starter was on a podium on the first green.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we went up to the clubhouse, paid for everything.
Yeah.
And went down, and the guy says, we can't allow him on the course. He's too young. And my dad, I remember this like it was yesterday, which is kind of crazy. I have a lot of golf stories. And he says, watch him hit the ball. Now, this is the day when you had wood drivers, persimmon,
oh my
right?
gosh,
and
man.
the ball had really good, if you hit it right, it had great reaction, right? And I striped the son of a bitch right down the center, a little draw. I actually parred the first hole.
No way.
And when I drove it, the starter goes, yeah, go ahead, let him go.
Go ahead.
Let him go.
That is awesome.
But yeah, golf it's.
I mean, because you
I don't know,
almost
it's kind of something that came natural to me. Plus, my dad pushed it on me so heavily because I guess he saw that I had some type of talent.
Yeah.
And thank you for saying that I'm talented. But I mean,
So
I don't
nice of you,
think
Sean.
is anybody really talented at golf. I think it's just constant. You're constantly evolving and learning the game.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Justin Thomas right now. He's struggling like there's no
It's
tomorrow.
it's
he can't
so
figure
crazy.
it out, right?
I know.
And he will. He'll get through it.
I know.
They always do.
But they all do
like
that.
Fowler coming back right now too.
Right?
Yeah,
Out of
Fowler's
nowhere.
back.
Ricky came out of nowhere.
Well, he had surgery or something, I think.
I mean, I feel like
what
he
a
was out
great
for
story.
years, though.
Yeah, he's a local boy,
he's
Murrieta.
local, yep.
He just bought Murrieta driving range.
Oh, really? Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's where he grew up. That's where his dad took him
See,
to learn
that is
golf.
rad.
So back to learning golf. Golf Digest, in years when I was a kid, used to have this tutorial in the back, and it was a different stock of paper. It was like a thicker brown, and Jack Nicklaus was a writer on there, and he would give lessons. So every month the magazine would come out, there would be lessons on there. My dad would tear them out, staple it up, and we'd sit down on the couch and we'd study.
That's cool.
And then we go, let's go to the driving range, because the driving range was Dad Miller, which was almost walking distance from
That is
where we
awesome.
live. And he would work me and work me and work me. And I think I was 12 when I had my first sub-par round. It was 69. Yeah. On junk clubs.
Yeah.
The technology today is
Oh, it's insane
absolutely
now.
nuts.
I mean, I know very few golfers who can shoot below par.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes close is okay, but I mean, to do that at what, 12, you said?
Yeah, I was 12, 69. I'll never forget it.
But then you went through puberty, got a bunch of strength, and started shaking the balls at the end of the bushes.
Yeah, then unfortunately, I lost my dad at a young age. I was 26 years old.
Oh, man.
So I lost not a best friend, but a father and a coach.
Yeah.
And then I had to learn everything on my own. I had no go-to at that point, And back to golf, I'm still tinkering. I didn't tell you. I added 3 inches to my driver shaft. I got about 20, 30 yards.
No
Oh,
way.
Really?
yeah, I'm striping the heck out of it right now. And then, because of Ricky Fowler, you talk about Ricky Fowler, right? He went to a 17-inch putter or a putter grip,
Yeah.
and he's running a 39. I think it's 39-inch putter, right? And I think he. Here's a pro's thought. He was at 39 and a half. And the top of the putter grip was rubbing against his belt.
Okay.
So he went, because they have all this at golf tournaments.
Yeah.
He goes in, he goes, take a half inch off this thing. And it made that much difference,
Oh my gosh.
right? So I did the same thing. I added it, right? And now I said, I know what he was talking about. So,
But you don't know unless you try it too. It's like
right,
you have to try it.
You have to tinker
Yeah.
with it, right?
Because if you can't, you're never perfect. That's always one of those things, and you're always
No.
changing. Your body's changing. Your movements are changing. Everything.
No.
Well, I think the key is like, and this is like him and me. Like when you golf, when you golf well, it's because you're comfortable. Everything
Makes sense, yeah.
everything is comfortable
You're
and
flowing.
it works. And he's always trying to find that optimum, comfortable feeling, so it gets your head right.
Yeah. When you stop trying, that's when your game gets better. When you just let what God gave you
Whatever's gonna
work,
happen.
and you have all the mechanics, and you start thinking here, and you just let the mechanics work. For me, this is me. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
everybody, because I watch those pros all the time, and you can tell they're grinding, man, up there. What did I do? How do I do this?
Yep.
But I'm very technical, and I have different quirks about my swing, and I know if I'm pushing a little bit, I can make a quick adjustment in my stance, or move the ball closer or further from me, and so on. But I'm a geek at golf, and
So
I
now,
just
but you had an
tinker.
opportunity to. You considered going pro, right?
When I was 18, I'll tell you the really crazy story about myself. Not proud of it, but it turned out to be the person that I am today. So I was a class clown for 3 years in high school. I
Yeah.
made it to the high school yearbook every year, and the principal and I knew everybody, and I played baseball. I played tennis. I wasn't into football because all my friends were getting hurt and shit. I just couldn't wrap my head
Yeah.
around. And plus, every summer they're out there sweating their what's
Oh
off
yeah.
to play football,
Yeah.
right?
Training.
So, come time to graduate, the principal calls me in the office. And he says to me, Danny, you've been an absolute pleasure. He says, I'm going to let you graduate. Well, all I'm thinking about, let me graduate. I'm thinking I'm graduating.
Yeah.
It's something like a week away or something like that. He says, but you're going to have to take summer school. I'm like, you're 5 credits shy.
Oh my
So I'm
gosh.
going to let you graduate, but you got to promise to take summer school. I'm like, I'm not taking summer school. Are you kidding me? I'm done with it. I need to move on with life. I
I'm not gonna
had 3
spend
paper
another
routes
3
as a
months
kid.
here.
I wanted to make money.
Yeah.
Right? I'm
Ready to
ready to
work.
move on, right? And for some reason, I wanted to be a cop. I don't know why. I just wanted to be a cop, right? So I says to the principal, I'm not doing it. He says, then you can't graduate. I said, okay, fine. Army recruiting office was about 450 steps from my house. So I walked home, went straight to the recruiting office, joined. About 2 weeks later, I'm gone.
No way.
Well, that day, when I left the principal's office, went and signed the military, my brother was playing baseball at the local Diamond.
Yeah.
Jerry, Bob Elliott, a couple of other Angels were there, and we're all sitting in the back, right?
Yeah.
In left field. Left field. I can see it in my mind's eye. And we're sitting there, and I walk up to my dad, and he says, how you doing? I says, I'm good. I says, can I talk to you for a quick second? He says, yeah. So we walk over there. And I said, I just want to let you know I just joined the military. He starts crying. He says, why'd you do that? And then I told him the story about the whole thing. And he says, Dave, his cousin, was a multimillionaire. He says, Dave was going to put you through the school, meaning Q school. Well, back in those days, I was like, I believe 10 grand.
What is Q school?
Q school is what Q school is today, but different. You actually went to several facilities and you
for
competed.
baseball.
No, for golf.
Oh, golf. Oh,
For golf. We were talking about golf.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like a training course at this point.
Well, you're actually competing, but
Okay.
it was a different format than what
Yeah.
it is today. Today, these kids are going out of high school, out of college, into Q school. And Q school is just Q school.
Okay.
It's a series of tournaments that you qualify through.
Wow.
And then you go to the championship, and I think it's top 14 players go on to earn their tour card.
Okay.
Some others go through your A and B leagues, like the Korn Ferry Tour. The women's, I think, I forget what they call it now, but they all have the minor leagues of golf, and that's
Yeah.
the other way to get in.
Okay.
But I had a spot. I didn't even know it, but my dad's cousin Dave was going to pay for my Q school. Well, I
Oh
didn't know
my
that at the time.
God. And you already joined. You just know going
I
back
already
now.
joined. I can't.
You
You
can't
know?
unjoin.
You can't unjoin.
Definitely not.
No.
Dishonorably discharged right there.
No. So I ended up, becoming an army dude.
Hey, that worked out
But it
though.
was the best thing I ever did in
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
Because it actually gave you a foundation that you would have never had
Yeah.
if you hadn't joined the military, because it teaches you so much self-discipline. It's nuts.
How many
right?
years?
I was in 3 and 3. So
Awesome.
3 active, 3 inactive.
Okay,
Back
awesome.
in those days, that's what it is. Nowadays, I think you can join for 2, and you can go in with a friend, and you can have cell phones when you're going
Yeah, I
through
just think.
basic.
Yeah,
it's so fluff.
I think it's
you know?
different. Yeah, I
It's-
don't know. My brother. Actually, my whole family. They're all Marine boys.
Yeah.
My brother did 4 years. Nephew did, I think 4 or 5. I think my brother did 5 actually. He did 5. But yeah, same thing. And then
Yeah.
my uncle's Air Force, but he did
Yeah.
40 years Air
Yeah.
Force.
Yeah.
So right out of high school and did his whole
Wow.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a retiree from the Air Force, but yeah, crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things you look back and people say, what would you do differently in life? I probably would have stayed in and just retired after 20 years.
Okay.
Only because I know I have friends in the past and I know some people now through just, natural acquaintance
Yeah.
through the year. I have a really good friend was a top, a 3 up, 3 down, and he's since retired. He was in the Air Force.
Okay.
And he's living life. And now he works for the government.
Oh, awesome.
So
yeah.
I think right now he's in Saudi or
Wow.
someplace.
It does lead you to great places for sure.
Yeah,
Being-
yeah.
So,
So
now,
doing
did it
20
ever
years.
lead you to being a cop?
Great question. I could pass all the physicals.
Yeah.
I went to Huntington Beach. I went to Orange County Sheriff. I think I did Anaheim too. I could pass all the physicals, but I could never pass the written. And it wasn't because I was an idiot. It's because back in the days, and I think they still have this format, is you go in and you take a test,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there's 5 possible answers. And all 5 are technically correct.
Yeah.
But the department wants to know how you're going to react to each situation or
Okay.
answer each question.
It's like trick questions almost.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
kind of are, because they all look, wow. I thought there was a right and a wrong. No, they're all,
Okay.
and each department has its own way of delivering their tool
Yeah.
to the public, right? I could never pass that. So it was kind of like maybe I shouldn't be doing this type thing,
Okay. Yeah.
So then you just
I
grabbed
just never-
surfboards and went surfing, and
it's funny. I haven't surfed, and I know you're surfing now, which is kind of cool.
try.
I also scuba dived, and I know what's under the water, and
Yeah.
he doesn't. So when
I'd
you're
rather
young-
not know.
When you're young,
I'd rather be under the water than on top of it, though.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. And
As a scuba diver.
I used to scuba.
Yeah.
I was certified
Yeah.
under NAUI. And I used to go to Laguna, Shaw's Beach. I
Oh
think
yeah,
is
Shaw's
what-
Beach is great.
Yeah,
Just walk
it's a
in.
great
and,
place. Just go anytime.
It's
and-
pretty unreal what's down there. You never would know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
some amazing cliffs down there,
Oh,
like
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool
Oh, yeah.
swim throughs. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Really?
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of kelp beds
a
and
lot
so
of
on,
kelp
which is
beds. Yeah,
cool.
which is crazy.
Yeah. So, and then I went to Catalina quite a bit.
Yeah.
Saw blue sharks out there.
Oh, yeah.
But when he says he's surfing, I'm like, I'd love to do it, but I would go longboard.
Yeah,
I would go like an 8-foot.
that's awesome.
Go to Doheny Beach
That's
and just
cool.
do the flats.
Yep.
And just have fun.
So fun
and
though.
do that shit.
Yeah.
It's good times.
So back to automotive. You were working on auto stuff.
Yeah.
And then after that, you went to a manufacturer, right?
I went from
Was
auto.
that TSW?
Yeah, I ended up at TSW. I went from auto stuff to I left there. Auto stuff. The owner won the Corvette Challenge and the World Challenge when Corvette would put out prepped vehicles, prep vets.
Yeah.
85 and 86, 1985 and 86, because 84 they had a crossfire injection. They were junk. Then they changed to what it is today. And they would individually prep these, and you couldn't modify them. There was green paint on all the nuts and bolts and the engine compartments and so on. So the owner of the company raced for GM, and we won 85, 86. Well, I was the team manager. So my job was to get the cars in the trailers, get them to locations to promote the team, get sponsorships and so on.
Yeah.
And then on race weekends, if they were local, I would go there and work the whole thing. What happened was I was working, I was a new father, newborn, and I was working 6-7 days a week. I just had no time. I was giving all my time to Autocraft.
Yeah.
Have I been using Auto Stuff? I think I have.
You have
It's called
Autocraft makes
Autocraft.
sense.
Yeah, sorry, Autocraft. I don't know what my email is. Auto Stuff. At one time,
Nice.
I had a little website called Auto Stuff at one time. And
Autocraft makes sense.
Autocraft. I ended up leaving there, went to a little retail store selling tires and repair and stuff. And then that's how I met Dennis Cohen, which was the owner of TSW Wheels.
Okay.
And so TSW Wheels, are you familiar with TSW?
Yeah.
I mean, they've been around obviously for
Oh,
forever.
yeah.
Long time.
Oh, yeah. 1990 is when I started.
Wow.
They were kind of like the premier wheel back then for lowering and sport and racing.
We had it all. We had all the kind designs. Back in the days, we were the first guys to make the Stealth wheel, which is a soft wheel.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard edged. It was called the Stealth. Then we had a Concept, which is a multi-spoke, and we did a few others, but it kind of put us on the planet. And I was there almost 8 years.
Wow.
And I was going through a nasty divorce, but our sales were rocking. I mean, I think we did 100,000 the first month I was with the company.
Wow.
And when I left, we were doing about 1.7. Yeah.
Holy crap. You're selling containers.
Containers. Yeah. Back in the, we talk about SEMA all the time, and I'm like, SEMA's just a waste of time. And if you talk to us old timers, there's still a lot of guys that live and breathe SEMA.
Mm-hmm.
There are, yeah.
I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
Because I remember the days when he's talking about containers that I would physically go to SEMA in a suit and tie with leather shoes, flats. Your feet were killing you at the end of the day, right? And they didn't have padding under the carpet back in those days. No, no way, right? Your back was hurting, your feet was hurting. But I would meet with Les Schwab Tire, Discount Tire Direct, and we would sit down for hours, both, not together. Both, I'd sit down with the key contingents at Discount Tire and Les Schwab. And we'd hash out a whole year's plan of what wheels they wanted, when they wanted, and how many they wanted.
Wow.
And between Les Schwab and Discount Tire Direct, I sold 17 containers of wheels at SEMA.
Damn.
Now, my job at that point was to manage that. That's it. Just manage it, right? So I think the lead times back in those days was about 3 months. So prior to the next allotment coming, the next shipment going, because it would go direct, it would leave South Africa.
Yeah.
We had Johannesburg and Babalegi, which was our
hubs.
our two manufacturing facilities. And so I would call up John Arthurs, I'd call up Mark McGinnis, I'd call up Farron Schultz and Ryan White at Les Schwab, and I'd say, okay, guys, here's the next. This is what's coming in. If we're going to make any changes, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that's all I did. I'd manage that inventory, right? And they were the hugest part of our business. I mean, to this day, they still are.
That's insane.
TSW is doing big business with, and Les Schwab is too. I mean, those are two ginormous powerhouses in the wheel industry.
I like Les Schwab, man. They honestly have very, very good service.
They have popcorn in every store.
Yeah.
They have meat Wednesdays. Like you buy a set of tires, you get meat. I actually met Les Schwab. I had lunch with him twice.
Really?
Wow.
Biggest man I've ever met. Man,
that's
just
awesome.
Huge dude, huge, big hands, beef guy, right? And he had his own airport. He collected vintage planes up in Primeville, Oregon.
Oh my gosh.
And you'd leave Portland, you go through this beautiful country to get to Primeville. And on the left was his airport and all his hangars, and he had all these cool planes. I never got to see those.
Yeah.
But on his right, he had just built, and this wasn't the town of Primeville, it was up on top of the crest. He had built 2 warehouses that housed tires. And they were a quarter of a mile wide and a half a mile long each, and those 2 side by side. And I believe they were 64, 80-foot ceilings, tires to the roof. Stacked. Door on this end, door on that end. So the trucks would come in, unload, and leave. Cash.
Yeah.
This is just cash business.
And then he takes it from there and distributes it in all the stores.
All over the stores. Yeah, and back at the time, there was no Les Schwabs in California. It was just northern, northwest area. Right now, they're just everywhere.
Do you know how many stores they have?
Oh, I couldn't even.
I'd be curious.
I couldn't even begin to guess.
Yeah, I mean, you'd
gotta
assume
be
thousands, right?
I mean, I would guess at 1,000, probably miss that mark. It's probably more.
You think they're the biggest Bigger than
I
Discount,
would say
bigger
biggest
than
retailer. Yeah.
Okay.
See, America's Tire or Discount
Yeah,
Tire,
Discount
as
Tire.
you know,
It's same as America's.
in California is America's Tire.
Yeah.
Because there's America's Tire Center. So there's
Oh.
a kind of a cross branding there. So when Discount Tire finally came to California, they called America's Tire.
Okay.
So there would be people knew that was Discount Tire, but the American.
Yeah.
At the American store. So that's how that went. But yeah, you're talking some to this day major powerhouses in the industry.
Wow.
So I was back to what happened with me at TSW. I was up for VP, and I was going through a nasty divorce, and he decided to hold me back. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I started with this guy.
Right.
$100,000 a month when I started you 7 years ago. You told me I was going to be the VP, and now we're doing 1.7 a month.
Yeah.
And how is that affected? How was my personal life affecting my business life? Because
Yeah.
that's one thing you never mix.
No, you never. Yeah.
As
Keep
hard
separate.
as it is not to.
Yeah.
It's one thing you never mix, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up leaving, and I ended up at Volant Cold Air Intake.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I ended up with you.
Yeah, us, and then
Yeah.
and then you went to Volant,
And
right?
then he got a hangnail, and he fired me. No, I'm only kidding.
Bummer. Hangnails, man.
No, it was an opportunity that came up, and
Yeah.
I ended up going there.
Yeah.
And I ran Volant for 12 years as the
Really?
vice president COO. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. That was
Is
a good
Volant
time.
owned by K&N now?
Volant's owned by Race Winning Brands. It was bought by Corsa.
Okay.
Here's a great story. So Corsa buys Volant,
Yeah.
right? I'm working for him,
Yeah.
and at the time, I'm working Volant and I'm working for him at the
Oh
same
my
time.
God.
I'm repping, right? I'm taking care of all these accounts that
Yeah.
I'm already dealing with. So it was an easy meld for me. It just fit right in, and he needed sales growth and everything. And we did really well. We doubled our
It
business
worked,
in
yeah.
a couple of years.
Yeah.
It worked real well. So then when Corsa, which is an exhaust company, bought Volant, they flew me out to Ohio. We had this big meeting and everything. And funny story, the owner of Corsa came up to me at SEMA thinking I was the owner of Volant and says, "You got a minute?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "You ever thought about selling your company?" How can I work this angle?
Right? Yeah. What am I going to do here?
Tony, get your over here. So I
Yeah.
introduced him to Tony, right? And Tony is one of those great guys, great guy,
Yeah.
but just wanted to be in the background.
Yeah.
So I'm that guy that throw me in. I'm ready to
Did
play.
you work
right?
that deal, the sales
Yeah,
deal?
just throw me in. I'll close this. So we did, and we sold the company.
That's
to
awesome.
Corsa. So
you
that-
commission?
Yeah, no, I didn't get.
Damn
they
it.
did give me a really nice sign-in bonus.
That's good, though.
Which was nice, and which was unexpected. I was like, oh my god! I came home with this ginormous check. My
Yeah.
wife looks at, what the heck is that? And I go,
What'd you do?
This is a sign-in bonus.
Damn.
It's my side hustle.
Yeah, exactly. Side hustle.
I do podcasts.
Yeah.
Didn't want to let you know. But yeah, and so I'm in Ohio, and we're talking. Everything's going on, and he calls me, right? And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
he says to me,
So what are we gonna
"Do
do?
you want to get that? Do you want to get that?" No, I don't need to get it. Craig's the owner, right?
Oh, my God.
So I think this is the best time, right? I says, "Okay, I'm gonna tell you what's going on."
Yeah.
And he had no clue that I was working at Gibson
Oh
the
my
whole time I was at
God.
Volant. He had no clue.
Really?
That's how clean we were able to
Yeah.
keep it, right?
That's awesome.
I really, there was some cross marketing going on there.
Yeah.
But most of the time I was able to keep them
Separate.
right? And people know me, so they know, well, he's doing Volant and he's doing
He's doing Gibson, yeah.
Yeah, this is good. Everything's working out.
Yeah.
We're happy. Sales are growing.
Yeah.
And it's not really sales. It's customer service.
For sure.
right? I'm just servicing everybody.
Yeah.
That's all I do. So that's my
Wow.
claim to fame, and here I am again with Gibson. It's
Yeah.
like I always say, I don't know why 3 times. But
Always back.
I love the family.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere now.
Stuck.
So this guy, I always have stories. So SEMA last time I saw you,
Yep.
2021,
Yeah.
2022. Jeez, how time goes fast.
It's almost
right?
SEMA
My
time
wife
again.
was talking about COVID the other day. It's like a thing of the past.
It
right?
is.
People don't even talk about
No.
COVID anymore. COVID, what the heck is that?
What's that C word?
That was that crazy thing we went through
Yeah,
where we all
that's for
thought we were
sure.
dying.
Uh-huh.
So we're sitting. We go to the room. It's I don't know what was that, a Thursday night? I think it was a Thursday night at SEMA.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the room ready to go to bed. Shut it down early. Friday. I'm ready to get the heck out of Dodge.
Yep.
Right? Because we've been there since what? I was
week
there
before.
since Friday.
Yeah.
Played golf a couple of days. Set up the booth.
Yeah.
At dinner. So It's about 10 o'clock at night. Knock, knock, knock. It's Sean. He goes, hey, let's go have some drinks. 10 o'clock? Are you crazy? Come on, man. We got to work tomorrow. Nah, let's go have some drinks. I said, okay. Like I said, that's why I'm here today, because I'll do anything for him.
Yes, of course.
Right? So we go sit down at the big round bar at Resorts.
Yep.
Resorts World,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful place.
It is really pretty.
Really, really
Yeah,
nice.
I'm impressed.
So we're sitting down there, and we're drinking, we're laughing, we're having a good time, and there's really nobody around us, and it's getting kind of late, and I didn't realize what time it was until a couple of ladies of the night sat
of course.
next to
There's
me.
like a night shift that kind of comes
yeah,
out,
it's
right?
kind of like,
Yeah.
it's noon, time to go out and make some
Get some,
money.
go work.
And then a couple of ladies of the night sat next to him, and then it was, what in the heck? So now we're kind of into the conversation. We're at least 4 or 5 beers into it, right? So you're starting to feel real good about everything. He says, I just want to let you know, Danny, no matter what happens to Gibson, you're always going to be a part of Gibson no matter what we do. Here I am.
Here you are.
Well, I mean,
That's-
he was like a mentor to me because I was in my early 20s, really just digging in, doing the sales stuff out there, and you mentored me a lot throughout the ways, and kind of just, I'm a ball of energy at a young age, running around partying, living what I think is the best part of the automotive industry.
Yep.
He's there also enjoying it with me, but then keeping me grounded as to the direction we need to go to and what you kind of have to do. Like, yeah, it's all fun and games to a certain extent because it's still business.
That was a mentor father figure. You know, I hugged him as the first girlfriend he ever lost. He was sitting in my office. And he almost started crying, and I said, "That's okay.
It's gonna be all
Things
right.
happen for a reason." And look what.
Well, and this is like
Now-
we're talking
now
like
it's-
that. We're talking like 18.
Yeah, he was young. He was
19,
young. He
like-
was young pup. He was devastated. Yeah.
Just a kid, like
Yeah.
just enjoying life, and it's awesome. I mean, Danny's been there for a lot of us. I mean, he's a boat guy. Would go to the lake. I mean, I think that's even how we were introduced, right? You were introduced to my parents via the boating community.
Yeah, I was working for Klinger.
Yeah,
CPX. And I got to know Ron really well.
There's a few people that'll probably hear that name and they're just gonna laugh. And go, oh my god,
Klinger.
fucking
That's where I
Klinger!
saw that guy. I remember Danny now. We used to have Suitcase Fridays where people would just come in and party on Friday nights at CPX. And
Oh
the Suitcase
my
was
God.
a 24-pack of Coors Light. Right?
That's awesome.
It's the only way you could get in, right?
Yeah.
We partied up, long story short.
That's great.
So Ron happened to be a friend of Klinger's.
Yeah.
And then because of that association, and I met Ron, this was before Gibson even started.
Wow.
Right? And then Ron, this is the best story ever because it's such a great company. And companies today don't build this way anymore. They're bought.
Yeah.
And then they're bought again.
It's true though. Yeah.
And bought again.
Yeah. All the business now is being bought.
I mean, like Vic Edelbrock built this enterprise, sold it to Wall Street. Wall Street screwed it up. He buys
bought it
it
back.
back.
Yep.
And now, from what I hear, it's bigger than ever.
Yeah.
Right? So Ron is that guy that was intuitive and stubborn enough to know that he could build something because he had this motorhome. It was an old 454, I
It
think.
was actually a Dodge 440
Dodge.
back then. Yeah, the
And
first one.
He was a river rat, so he would pull a boat to the river and going up Cherioka Summit in Indio.
more power.
The thing was just bogging, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way, right? So what does Ron do? He builds a muffler by hand.
Yeah.
And he puts it on. And it worked. And all his buddies, he's brag. If you met Ron,
Yep.
he's going to brag about what he did, right? And everybody knows about this muffler. And now I'm a friend of Ron, hearing what's going on, and he bought this little place in Yorba Linda. It's an old muffler shop.
Yeah.
And it had a pit in it. And I'd go visit him because he would sell some of our CPX products.
Oh, nice.
Because I was a distributor for a lot.
Yeah.
I had a lot of arms and all kinds of different manufacturers back doors. And he would buy stuff from me. So I go deliver it, and we sit there and we bullshit. And he'd be underneath there welding up mufflers. And this was a
awesome.
side gig,
Yeah, because he still had the construction company at that
Yeah,
point, right?
Yeah, he was a successful general contractor
Yeah.
back then.
And every time I would go deliver, there'd be more motorhomes parked in the back. More motorhomes.
getting busier and busier.
This looked like an RV lot at one time, right?
Oh my gosh.
And that's exactly how Gibson started.
That's awesome.
Off this idea, off this,
Yeah.
his dream, his vision of.
So was he?
of what it
So he
is
was
today.
making his own mufflers for the for the motorhomes, but was he also doing for cars and stuff too at that point?
No, I mean at that point he was like just a retailer, right?
Yeah,
like a
he was
muffler
just
shop.
he was
had,
selling.
He had someone making his
Magnaflow or
design.
whatever. She was selling
Dynamax.
Oh yeah,
Dynamax was the big
Yeah.
one. You had Walker because you're just doing like a lot of replacement mufflers
Yeah,
on,
okay, yeah.
you know, just regular everyday cars driving
Yeah.
in, not necessarily even performance. Like performance exhaust wasn't really much of a thing then
No, yeah, it
because
wasn't, yeah.
Right.
because the idea of performance was just loud, straight pipe, right?
Right.
Open
Exactly.
it
Well,
up.
You're just cutting it off.
Anza tips were a louvered tip that made your little four banger sound like a V8.
Of course, yeah.
They sounded horrible,
Yeah,
but
it
it
was
was
so-
the new thing.
And so essentially, like what my mom and dad created and off his design was a performance exhaust.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it wasn't just to open it up. It was a performance
no.
replacement exhaust that enhanced performance, maintained sound levels that weren't crazy loud because everybody was putting on cherry bombs or straight pipes.
Yeah,
And they were
cherry
glass
bombs.
packs.
Glass packs, oh
they
my
were just
God.
loud as hell. so
Yeah,
he
yeah.
built that quiet
disgusting.
performance
Yeah.
thing. Like, hey, we're gonna get you the power. We're also gonna keep the sound down too.
Yeah.
And
To sound good, it's not going to sound.
then they
stupid
created
loud.
a kit. I mean, they were the first ones to create a bolt-on
Yeah.
aftermarket performance exhaust for trucks.
And we still, to this day, use that muffler that he built,
Mm-hmm.
and it is probably our main muffler.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when the manufacturers were doing like the active fuel management and doing some other crazy things that we had to change the design a little bit. But
Yeah.
as things obviously seems like everything's kind of goes in full circle, it's coming back around where that original design is
now working again.
Now more common in a lot of our new products.
It comes around because you have this muffler that works. It's big, it's ginormous, and it works. So you start downsizing to lower the cost of manufacturing as well.
Yeah.
And to give the consumer something because now we want louder, right? But you can't go too loud because there's a fine line you
Yeah.
got to play there, right?
Yep.
So we built a different oval. I think we have a round two. It's a cross conversion. It's a CFT, which is a ploy off the original SFT. And then we build the MWA, which is super unique to
Yeah.
the industry today. So now we have the best of three worlds, and it works.
Yeah.
We don't have a ton of mufflers. You don't need a ton.
You don't need a ton, though.
You need different sizes.
Yeah.
Different
but you need,
configurations.
yeah, but the same,
Right.
same engineering.
Yeah.
So no packing all the way through.
Never.
He's never packing.
Never.
No.
Yeah.
Packing
Never.
blows.
Don't need it.
Yep.
It does.
I know.
It burns out. It changes
Yeah.
everything. So that's how I met Ron, and then Ron had chased me for quite some time, and it was just something I would say, Ron, you can't afford me. You can't afford. One day, this is no BS. He calls me up and he says, I can afford you now.
That is
And that's
awesome.
when you left Prospect
Oh yeah.
and you came to Corona.
Well, and you didn't realize though you were coming to work for my mom, not my
Yeah, I
dad.
did at the time, right? Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, what? What's going on? I thought you were running this, Ron.
Nope. Nope.
So, and kudos to Julie. She's done a phenomenal job. Yeah.
So, Deacon, what do you think so far of Danny? You've seen Danny in that office your entire life.
Be nice.
Did you know any of this stuff about Danny?
Nope.
What did you? What do you think about it? What's the craziest thing you think you heard so far?
I don't know.
All of it?
Yeah.
Everything's like, I don't know. There's so much.
Are you golfing? Nice. Have you done golf camp? Because like everyone is posting now, everyone's going to golf camp during the summer.
Really?
Yeah, recently everyone's like, oh, golf camp, golf camp.
Oh,
That's
that's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
You should do it.
His golfing
on, Sean.
career is with my dad and then Chance and I.
Nice.
It's about all it is. We played his first full round not too long ago.
You did.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And he's doing pretty good. I mean,
Now's the time to do it
Yeah.
before he develops skills that he'll never use, because now's the time to give him the basics. So you need to get into it. I mean, it's the greatest game on the planet. It really is.
It is cool.
I mean,
So, Danny, what do you think? You've been at SEMA a long time, and I mean, maybe you can explain to Deacon kind of what SEMA is. He's got an idea, but what do you think about SEMA's upcoming, after show party thing that
the big
literally we
F1
thought?
thing?
Well, the thing, not even yeah, kind of, but like there was
SEMA
rumors and
Fest?
everything going around,
Live
right, that they were
Fest?
going to open it to the public.
Yeah.
And then they launched this thing kind of like it's for the public.
It's a SEMA Ignite, though, but
all
just 2
they
days,
did was
right?
just make it bigger SEMA Ignited
Yeah.
and trying to keep us there even longer.
Yeah.
What do you?
I think the model of SEMA, they've lost direction because what it was, I mean, I'm one of the old school guys, right, that went and I sold there.
Yep.
And everybody, I wasn't the only guy.
Yeah.
Everybody was selling there. And that's where you get your best prices and the most attention and all the questions and everything you needed was right there. And you had time and you had meetings scheduled, and I mean it was crazy. There was a time at TSW where the Chinese came in and they would run around with their little cameras.
Yeah.
Back in the days, they
I'll
had to
take pictures.
they had
Yep.
little Polaroids.
Yep.
Put it in
Stealing
their pocket,
Yeah.
right? And they had the technology back then, and we found this out the hard way, to take a picture of our wheel, and in 7 days have a first
That's
article
crazy.
back in the United States off that Polaroid picture. And we went to SEMA one year with patent attorneys. We had
Yeah.
about 4 or 5 of them in our booth, and they went on a spree. And there were people that wheels were being taken off display and put away. Because TSW was kind of a leader. We had some really nice designs.
Yeah.
Those days are over. SEMA is just, I mean, let's be honest, it's a car show.
It is. Yeah.
It's a
big
car show.
Yeah.
And the more retail people walking the place, the more waste of time it is for us. And
Yeah.
I love the retail people. It made us who we are.
Yeah.
But you go to SEMA.
You're spending a lot
our
of money
little
to be there.
booth, Our little 2030 this year, when all the dust settles, it's 40, 50 grand,
It's crazy.
right? Hotels, food.
Big investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And are you really making that money back plus?
No.
It's
your ROI.
It's just like a marketing expense.
being
You
there, yeah.
It's a feel good type
Yeah.
of action where you kind of feel like it should be doing something, but
Yeah.
you just can't really do it. 'Cause, I mean,
Can't put your
for the longest
finger on it.
time, you would measure the success of the SEMA show based on the amount of orders you
Right.
wrote when you
Yeah.
were there,
Right. Yeah.
And that
or
was
new
it.
accounts.
Yeah. New accounts.
New
New
business, right?
New
and,
business.
and you could measure your ROI.
Yeah.
You can't.
Can't do it. There's just none.
Because you're not getting the orders there
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
Well, no, because back in the day, though, too, you wouldn't launch a product
Yeah.
until you were there.
Until you're there, that
Right.
makes
So
sense.
then
Yeah.
they're buying that new product.
Now you're just
new
launching
customers
products whenever.
coming.
Case in point, I keep going back to TSW. So we built this wheel called the Concept. It was a multi-spoke. It's real popular today. Thin spokes. It was, 12 spokes. Called Concept. We were going to release it like midsummer. And I says to Dennis, let's not do that. Let's do that. Look what happened to the Stealth. We couldn't keep up with supply and demand.
Yeah.
Right? We lost a lot of sales because we didn't have it. Let's put about 6 months worth of inventory in stock, bring it to SEMA. Back in that last year that we were at SEMA, we had a museum. You actually had to walk into our booth. You couldn't see inside of it, so you had to be invited. And that was because of copying.
Okay.
Right? So we kept our Legends wheels out front, so you know it was TSW. This is TSW on the side and everything.
Yeah.
But you had to be invited. And we hired girls from the local bars.
Wait, what was that? I didn't quite understand that.
I was trying to keep it
You're
clean.
saying bars.
You know, the
Bars.
bars. The bars.
Is that what they do with those bars?
Yeah, they do those bars.
No, there's drinking,
kind
you
of
know?
some of this,
Bars.
that kind of bar. And they were actually, I think back in the days, it was like $300 a day, right? And so they would be in the front, and people that were invited to come in would have a pass. I think we sent them a pass or something. I can't remember exactly how we do it. So we would sit out front, then they let you in. And so we would have a captured audience now. Inside there was meeting rooms,
Yep.
and there was a bar fully stocked,
Oh my gosh.
food and everything.
Well, and this is like almost like back then, probably like a $500,000 budget
it
for a
was huge.
booth.
Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely huge. So we went there, and I decided, instead of bringing full-size wheels inside the place, let's cut them in half, put them in picture frames. So when you walked in, you felt like you were in a museum. So the one wheel, the Concept, we had full-size, but we had it behind in this little room, which was kind of a storage room.
Yeah.
And so the big players, the Les Schwab and the Discount Tire Direct, and there's a group, and I'll think of it in a minute, Buckeye Tires,
Yeah.
and in Georgia, big guys, and tire discounters in Ohio. We only showed it to a handful of people. We said, we're going to have this, but we're only handing it out to certain people. And you're one of them.
Wow.
And we'd share with them who they're going to. It was the most successful launch. We had 6 months worth of stock we sold in about a week.
Wow.
Yeah. And it became our most popular wheel because we held back.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can't hold back.
No, it's.
You just got to throw it out
it's
there,
go.
right?
Yeah.
And hope it sticks to the wall.
Yep. Hope it works.
Now-
So it's completely changed. SEMA is just completely
different, yeah.
changed.
Do you
different
think
animal.
it would be better at this point? I mean, I've got my opinions, I have our opinions, but do you think it's better if it was just open to the public and became a retail show?
I think at that point, quit playing with the manufacturers that are there.
And let them know that, hey,
Because
it's
we're
open
paying a
public.
lot of money.
Yeah.
Quit playing with us,
Yeah.
right? Because then I think what they're afraid of is look what happened. Chevrolet left.
I know.
Ford left.
Honda left.
Honda left.
Yeah.
But they didn't leave retail shows. They're still doing the big
No,
auto
I know.
shows.
And they have, you know
the
what
big
they have.
everything.
I think that brand has to be there. I think Honda needs to be there. Toyota needs to be there. Chevy, Ford, Dodge, I don't know. I just don't understand that mindset.
Yeah.
But a guy like us, a mom and pop business, for us to go there, spend 40, 50 grand and sit there and talk with a guy that's building a 49 Wombat and
Yeah.
needs a muffler for his car.
Yeah.
When I got a consumer or customer right here that's doing $1 million
True,
with me
exactly,
a year,
yeah.
and I can't get to him because
'Cause you're
that's
talking-
the,
yeah.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
And you want to wring the guy by the neck and say, and you don't want to be rude and say, hey, I got to go.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you just.
I know. You take it. It's tough.
So SEMA, they're going to have to change their model and they're going to have to be upfront and honest. It's kind of like what's going on with the PGA Tour and live.
And yeah.
It's the same thing. Nobody's being honest. There's something fishy. So what we're going to do this year, I'm going to do, is we're going to go to PRI.
Nice.
And PRI's in Indianapolis.
I know, yeah,
as
I
you
love-
know.
yeah, PRI is
and it's
great.
a racing industry.
Yep.
It's where the good old boys are going,
Yeah.
right? And if you've got 60% of your business, maybe 70% of your business coming from the East Coast,
Yeah.
why don't you get closer to the people that are
Absolutely,
doing
dude.
business with you?
I agree 100%.
And meet and greet some people that probably know you, don't
Yep.
sell your product, but when I get a hold of them, they're going to sell my product. I'm
Yeah.
going to make it really easy on. That's another thing.
The hard part with PRI, though, is you're constantly being sold on marketing.
Yeah,
and
well, I'm
sponsorships.
done with that.
Oh.
We're just going to do, I'm going to do a 10-20, and I can manage
Perfect.
10-20 by myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to have our rep. We have an East Coast rep that takes care of Summit.
Good.
Jegs and Motor State. And that's, I think I can do the whole show for 10 grand.
Nice.
I mean, that's everything.
Yeah.
Flights, everything,
Great.
right?
Good.
The booth 10-20 is $3,300.
Nice, man.
That would be $1,500 or
Yeah.
$15,000.
PRI is
at
great,
SEMA.
dude.
So why not give it a shot, right? You can get nonstops straight to Indianapolis.
Oh, it's
not a
easy,
big
easy
deal.
fly in, man.
Indy is a cool
Indy's a great town.
You go see Indianapolis Raceway.
Yep.
I mean, there's so much to do there
Yep.
too. So,
It's chilly.
Well,
It's
it is,
chilly.
It is.
But,
you know
you
what?
don't have to move, you don't leave
do
the hotel.
walk-
I know.
You do
you
the walkways.
It's amazing.
right?
Yeah.
All over the place.
You don't leave the hotels.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just jump from
Yeah.
hotel to building to building to building. It's amazing. Yeah.
it's phenomenal. So we're
They
going to
have
try
great
that and
steakhouses.
see what happens.
Yeah.
And if I can come out of it with some old acquaintances that we haven't done business with in a long time,
Yeah.
and some new,
Yeah.
and
Worth it.
just come out of it with something.
Yep.
And then I'm not going to name names, but there's distributors that we had that we don't have now because we opened another distributor that people don't like. So
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those kind of deals. Hey, that's fine. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But you're not being fair to the consumer that I used to send to you.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
go get that guy now. So now technically, because you have a riff with another WD, you're just leaving the door open for me to come
Now I
get
can
it.
go- exactly.
And I'm going to get it.
Get it.
Because
Absolutely.
I gave you all that business at one time. Because I referred all that out to you. Because you took care of the East Coast for me.
Well, that's what they get
So-
for being stubborn.
SEMA, I don't know. They need
Yeah.
to change it. They need to change it.
Yeah.
I think they need to scale it down.
Yeah.
I really do. Because, God, you walk around
The hard part is
halls-
they do a retail, then they're going to devalue the show. No one's going to pay as much for it, but they have to start somewhere, and then the revenue would come from ticket sales, not so much the vendors.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well,
So, Decan, you've been a part of, obviously, Gibson your whole life, right? What do you think about exhaust? What does an exhaust do?
Makes the car louder.
Yeah. What do you think is your favorite sound of an exhaust that you've heard? Is it something on YouTube, something you heard in person? What do you think sounds the coolest?
Ours.
Ours? Good answer.
Nice.
Right? Ours.
Well trained.
well trained.
That's awesome. Man. So what's your favorite car?
Nissan GTR.
Nice.
Why?
Oh, go straight to the top.
Just looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It's also one
and
of
it's
the
fast in the games, right?
fastest car on the planet.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
the Koenigsegg.
I think
He says
that
the Koenigsegg is the fastest car on the
Koenigsegg-
planet.
Well,
Oh, so you're into supercars
Correct
and-
me if I'm wrong.
I love it.
If you go back about 5-6 years ago, it was. Now everything's blown apart and electric's coming on. And Lamborghini announced that they're going to get rid of aspirated cars.
They can't. No, Deacon, is
I'm telling you,
the
it's coming.
Koenigsegg's a hybrid, right? It has electric and gas, or is it all
no,
gas?
just all gas.
It's all gas.
How many horsepower?
I think 1,000 maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. I think they're right around 1,000, 1,200. I think
the
you're right on
Koenigsegg's
it.
actually a badass car.
It's insane.
Have you ever seen one in person?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, all the time.
All the time, man. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You got to take him to Pebble Beach, dude. You should take him up there for Car Week.
Yeah. Have you ever seen
Good
one in
idea,
person?
Yeah.
All you gotta do is go downtown, hang out, and they're through there all the time.
No way.
It's so yeah.
Well, there was a couple
Go
of-
dinner down there.
Aren't these like $1 million cars?
Oh yeah,
More
multi-million
than
dollar
that.
cars.
Yeah, more.
multi-million.
There was
yeah.
one at SEMA that your son Chance jonesed over. He was like,
How much are they?
Like 2.5 million.
"Oh,
Dude, he knows, man. That's legit.
Wow.
Yep.
good for you."
So you're going back to school soon, right? Mm-hmm. What are you excited about for school?
Because we were downstairs, now we're going upstairs.
So you're kind of like you're like on top now, huh? The big kids up top.
What grade?
4th.
Fourth's cool.
That's
so one more
rad.
year there, and then you go to middle school. Or do you go all the way
I
through?
think you go to 5th. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
5th, okay.
after 5th grade, then you go to
Six
middle
is
school.
middle school now.
It depends, yeah.
Some-
'Cause,
I
well,
know
back in
mine
the
was
day, it used to be
6th.
7th and 8th.
7, 8, 9.
Oh no,
No, it
so
was just 7th.
9th through
When I
12th
was
high
going
school.
through. Yeah.
So when
That
I
was
was in school,
ancient.
yeah,
You guys
I
only went to
know.
11th, right?
I know.
11th grade or something like that back then.
I graduated in 79.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you had school
Well,
back
I
then?
didn't graduate. I joined the military.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I decided not to graduate.
You dropped out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you've listened to every single one of our episodes, right? Mm-hmm. What is your favorite one?
The avocado one.
Yeah, it was a good one, man. Everyone tells me too, avocado one. That was a good
Yeah,
one.
Heath just texted me. He's like, we're going to the lake this week.
Really
I'm like, "Nah, man."
nice.
Yeah. What was the most interesting thing you learned about the avocados?
That they have to stay cold. I didn't know you had to keep them cold, not just keep them on the
On the
table.
counter,
yeah,
right? You keep them
nice.
cold to preserve them, huh? I didn't know that
Yeah,
either.
that's awesome.
That
was
is
good.
pretty
I've
awesome.
always done that, though. Haven't you?
No.
Put them in the
you-
fridge.
Yeah, I always put them in the fridge.
Well, after
Yeah, I
I
always
cut them
do.
open, I usually do.
You know, if you cut them open, too, and you keep the seed in it and put it in a...
Yeah,
they
that's-
last
I
longer.
know, but
If you
think-
listen, if you listen
If
to
you only
episodes,
use
we know
half,
that,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't think that even helps, though.
No, he
does
says
it?
it does,
no,
but
it
also he
does.
said
Yeah.
just keeps the air out of it. He's like, just keep the air out of
Oh, is
it.
that what
Whatever.
it is?
Yeah. So keep the seed in there. He said it does help a little bit, but he said if you keep the air off of it,
Yeah, yeah.
it's good. So if you put like saran wrap over the actual avocado and no air gets to it, it's gonna last you a lot longer too.
My wife actually has a cover that goes over the avocado.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
cool.
this rubber thing.
Yeah.
And it's for the seed, too. It's got the little lump in it.
Yeah,
So you put it in.
That's great.
Yeah. It works.
'cause, yeah, it keeps the air
works.
out, man.
It
That's
lasts
what-
a couple extra days.
Yeah.
But, if you're going to cut an avocado,
You gotta eat it.
you have half. You know you're going to have the next half within a day.
Deacon,
Yeah.
what special guests do you think we should try and get on here? Who do you think we should reach out to?
Sea boys.
Sea Boys.
Who are the Sea Boys?
Just like a person that like they have tons of cars, like a friend group.
Okay,
Really into dirt bikes and stuff like that.
nice. Are they local?
No,
No. Where are they from?
I don't know.
Somewhere probably.
He's like, not here.
Midwest. Yeah.
Not here.
Are they on YouTube?
Yeah.
Nice. We'll check out their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Maybe we get the Sea Boys.
Maybe you can reach out to them saying, hey, you guys got to get on this podcast.
Now that
Yeah.
you're,
Send them a
Let's see.
message.
you're world famous,
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
All
get you
over the
everywhere.
We gotta
place
make
now.
you YouTube channel, man.
you may get some girls
So
calling after this.
when
Oh.
you are able to drive, what do you think would be your first car? If you could just pick any car, any truck, anything, like what would be your first ride?
GTR.
A Chevy truck,
Yeah.
All right.
What color?
Maybe your uncle hand one down to you.
black or white.
I knew
Black
it.
or white?
Come on. You know it's going to be black.
Yeah. Would you lift it, lower it?
Lift it.
Yeah. Would you
Sick.
make it like put like the big wheels and tires, or you would do like more like the off-road pre-runner?
Off-road P-Runner.
Yeah.
Nice.
I agree.
You should just tell him to save the truck he's got now and give it to you.
Just say you want
16.
Chance's truck.
Yeah,
right?
so you want you want Chance's truck.
There you go.
Your cousin will hand it down. Well, it's
Awesome.
been amazing, you guys.
It's been fun.
Thanks.
It's been real.
Thanks.
Our story doesn't end here.
No, it keeps on.
Keeps
We'll
on.
keep going
Yeah.
on.
Keep going.
But Danny, thanks for
Thanks for
making
having
the
me.
time
Thanks for
today.
having me. I told him I won't do this. I'm not going to do it. He's been beating me up.
Oh,
forever.
you're in.
I don't know. I don't.
Well, I was trying to get Rosie on here, and she was like, no. And so she was kind of saying, I'm like, fine. I go, well, you know what? Danny can't say no. Let's go, Danny.
Tomorrow for
Not
work.
To him. Not to him. Yeah, that's okay. I'm
Like,
okay.
come
being-
on, Danny. You give so many damn stories. There's a different story I hear from you every time we go playing golf. And I'm like, I've known you almost my whole life, and there's still always something new I learn about you.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's-
I'll be a good grandfather if I ever see my kids. They're
Hey.
way up north.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
Damn kids.
No, they're a pain in the butt.
it's all good.
Love it.
Deacon. Except for you.
Not a pain in the butt.
What'd I
Do you want to make a shout out to any of your homies?
do? Duke.
Duke.
Yo,
What up, Duke?
What's up, Duke?
What up, Duke? Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
See ya.
Whoa. Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got 'em picking up the pieces.